All these crises, especially the ones that we have in this part of the country, in my opinion, is that governments over the years abandoned certain groups of people. The farmers were abandoned. Whatever the achievements that we had from 1960 to date was far away from the farmers. The farmers in my village and elsewhere in northern Nigeria and even in the south are still using the horse, catalysis and all sorts of old and traditional things. People are not even well promoted to use animals that we see somewhere and in some parts even here. I'm not talking of even tractors. In the 60s and 70s, we had so many combined harvesters in Kano, purchased by governments. But now the abandoned are just there. I'm sure we have zero in Kano and elsewhere in this part of the country, except for a few farmers now that are strong enough to buy it for themselves. So the same thing with herders. Nobody is talking about them. In those days, they have grazing areas, they have cattle routes, they have hospitals for the Fulanis or herders and cattle. Nobody is talking about it now. So you have cattle, and most of these cattle are being owned by even people in the towns and villages, are not even owned by the Fulanis or the herders themselves. You cannot go out from here to there without Fulani or cattle really grazing on somebody's farm. And that's why you have crisis. We moved forward, some people are backwards. And these are the people, the herders, the farmers, that are now mainly taking arms, especially in the northwest and north central. In the northeast, it's the same thing, because the children of the poor that they send for this Islamic education or al-Majiri, now they find themselves in a mess. Somebody with 2-3 wives, with 20-30 children, will just pick 4 and send the remaining to what we call East. East means Yobe, Borno, and other places there. And they go there, no father, no mother, and they are being indoctrinated by other people who are pursuing their own agenda. They realize that the mother did nothing to them. The same thing with the father, or relations, or people from their own part of the country. They are ready to kill anybody, even themselves, because there's no investment. The food they eat is what somebody is throwing away. The clothes they put is somebody's clothes that is throwing away, or shoes or something like that. So how much is the investment? Close to zero. So if you kill themselves, they are killing zero. Somebody who has gone to school, who has been sponsored, parents who have sponsored their children to go to schools, good schools, the children who are sponsored to go to schools locally and internationally, will be the last people to kill themselves, because they have hope. These guys have no hope. You see them as filling stations. People like you and me who go with good cars, good clothes, looking good, full of hope, and they are hopeless. We are enemies. They don't care whether you are Christian or a Muslim, or north and south. They believe we are working all together against them. And that's why you find them in Boko Haram, you find them in these bandits. Very easy to recruit. If you look at them when they are being apprehended, just looking poor and haggard. Somebody calls them and puts them to do the right thing, give them hope. Many of them will change. You see, the solution to what we have is summation of all what I told you. Look at farmers. What do they want? First of all, they will tell you fertilizer, because over the years, all these crops we have, all the seeds and seedlings were introduced to fertilizer. It's not their fault. When I was a child, there was nothing like fertilizer. I was alive when fertilizer was introduced in northern Nigeria, but we had crops long before my grandparents. They are planting it using local manure. When it came, it was even free. They are bringing it to my father in my district to distribute. But now they are being introduced, these things. If you go and plant maize now without putting that element of fertilizer, you are just wasting your time. You just come up like this, you see it flowering, before you know it, it's dead, it's finished. So there must be fertilizer. The cost is so exorbitant, and things cannot continue like that. Now farmers, nobody wants to go and be doing what my grandparents have done, working manually as laborers and that's why our children are not going for farming. No value addition in terms of technology. People will be happy with tractors on the farm. If they cannot get that, maybe use animals so that they can double or triple their own output, and so on and so forth. People want to go to schools. People want to do what everybody is doing. We are all human beings. Only that one can argue that this one comes from this family today, or the other one comes from the other family. But we are all human beings. If somebody slaps you or any other person, you'll feel it. But leaders don't understand that. Now, unless you go and cater, give hope to people, give jobs to young men and women, you still continue to have people who will be taking drugs, and drugs are not even controlled in this country. Everybody is just there. I know some places, somebody was telling me that in all the markets they are selling drugs like they sell beans or maize. It's using pan, to sell. They're not talking of expiration date, because they are just things that are there to kill the Nigerians. So you have to correct the politics. If you win, you look back and see people who supported you and make sure that you give them opportunity to improve their CV, to earn a living, and so on and so forth. You have to look at economy. We cannot continue importing everything. Some will say even toothpick. Why do you have to do that? This electricity shouldn't be a miracle. We have been to almost everywhere in the world. Some people have overcome that. We are not inventing anything. It's just to do what other people have done. We are not going to invent electricity. Somebody has done that a long time before now. We are not going to invent how to do road. What is difficulty a road as a civil engineer? Is it to identify the material to put on the road? Is it the compaction? Is it the material to lay? What? In my opinion, we don't need even people from elsewhere to come and do. These are things that we can do. I can do it, if not because I'm in this business. This is what I learned long before I came into this. I was the project manager of Chala Gorge Dam, one of the biggest in this country, before I left service, civil service. So we can do it. I was in craft school, I was in technical school, I was a fitter machinist. I worked in many industries in Kano. I was in Raka and Chaka, I was in S-Raka, I was in Reka itself, producing, fitting and machining, using lathe machines, shaping machines, drilling machines, all sorts of machines to produce missing parts or damaged parts. Why do I have to bring things from elsewhere? Our boys are still there. They can do it. Now we have gone bad to the extent that most of the things that we do, like POP, like even laying granite or tile or anything, we have to get people from neighboring countries. Okay, what of Nigerians? What are they doing? They are in the villages and towns and cities just taking drugs. Not because they want to do it, but the circumstance. That's why we built 44 technical schools in Kano, to train them locally. So, you see, all these things must be done. And leaders must see everybody as their own. Whether it's the same party with you or in an opposition party, once you are president or governor, they are all yours. You are the president of the country, not president of your party. You are the governor of the state, not the governor of your own party. You bring in people, give them hope. What we have today is that whoever becomes president or governor, all others who are in other parties are his enemies. The only people he likes are people in his party. And even them, he'll take small chunk, small percentage. All others are angry. So that's the beginning of the problem. The politics itself must be right. So you have to look at all this. Now, for Naira, it's going down. The first time I was in the UK, in 1981, 1 Naira is more than $1. That's my BTA. What of now? If you know it yesterday, today you have to ask. It's not appreciated, it's always going down. You have to stop that. Everything you see around is imported. We have to stop that. The military, and other security agencies, you have to train them and retrain them. They are good people, very capable, people who believe in this country, people who are ready to lay their lives for you and me to live. They are there, well trained in this country. It was when I was a Minister of Defense that we had our first defense policy in this country. Maybe now it's being, modified or something once or twice, I was told, amended. We were the ones, it was my time that we moved from the old NDA to this new site. We completed all the remaining buildings and so on and moved them there and put all the requirements for training and retraining of the military. We improved Jaji, we improved Zaria, and so on and so forth. So these are the things. SSS must be supported to bring in information. And it's not only them. It is even the politics. You and me. You go to local government, you have one SSS. Now you have to encourage others, the traditional rulers, the civil servants, the farmers, the herders. Everybody should be part of the system. And unless if you have got the confidence of the government, you can't go and report. Because what we have recently, according to information, is people are being exposed. You go and give information about bandits, somebody will go and tell them. And before you know it, they come and hit at you. And that has to change. So it's just a collection of everything. Military cannot do it alone. Police cannot do it again. Nobody can do it alone. So unless if you have good government, if you have government, some will even surrender.